I am a captain in the United States Army. I'm a signal officer currently stationed out of Okinawa, Japan. I am Vietnamese American. I was born in Hoi An, Vietnam. So I immigrated to the United States when I was about 11 years old. Went to the state of Washington, and I stayed in a little city called White Center. And I entered middle school in 6th grade. Very challenging for me to integrate into the English-speaking society. I did not know any English back then, and some of the challenges I faced, of course, was the language barrier right away. And then secondly was understanding the culture and how things was being done. It was completely different, right? So I was entering at a pace where, of course, there was ESL, but again, you still have that difficult internal communications with your friends and peers. And I think that was the most difficult, was just try to understand and get accepted at the same time. To overcome all those challenges, I think of course, it was a lot of late nights and a lot of just socializing with my friend, trying to understand the differences, the small nuances within the languages and the culture. I think for the strength that I got out of high school was identifying what I want to do in life and the goal to get there. So for my weakness in high school, it was, of course, the language barrier. I still have some, especially grammar. I still have it today. In that time, I went to 2 different high schools. My parents moved from the first one, which, where I made all my friends from middle school onward, and moving to a new high school when I was a sophomore. That was a different challenge because I had to, make new friends, and the support that I had was no longer there. Became a U.S. citizen when I was about 16 years old, a few years after I got to the States. It really set the path for what I want to do, and that's part of why I want to serve. So after high school, I didn't have money to go to college. I was not smart, so I kind of stopped school, put it on pause. I went working as a CNC machinist for about 4 years, and then I realized that's not the life I wanted. It was somewhat of a bottleneck, dead-end job. So that kind of prompted me to go back to school and try to figure out what I want. From middle school onward, I always want to be in the military, and that was what I want to do, was to serve as an Army officer. So I look at all the path, how do I get there, while I was working at the same time. And of course, it was a rough path because I was working from, I want to say 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. and then my first school hours start at 7, so I had almost no sleep, and then go back to school after work. That work hour, I couldn't focus on getting my classes done, so I had to retake a lot of classes to bring my GPA up so I can get into the university. When I got accepted to my university, I kind of just took a loan and then stopped working so I can focus on school. So to finance all my school, I was able to get a full scholarship ride, and on top of that, I took a $25,000 loan from the USAA to pay off for all the other expenses. And the goal for me was to not go to work while I focused on the last 2 years, because to me, it meant everything. Scheduling for the initial appointment, because I was working 12-hour shift while going to school. And then, to get the scholarship, I had to take a PT test. And of course, I never take a PT test in my life. It was a rough time. I never run in my life. So the first PT test was rough. I think I ran at 22 minutes. And at the time, we had what's called LTC. I was 2 weeks out from getting on a plane to go to Fort Knox to get that catch-up course. I failed then, and I had to talk to my one of the major at the university. I said, "Hey, look, I just need 2 weeks. I just need 2 weeks to work on my run, because I passed everything out except for my run. I never run before. If I fail then, the day before I get on that plane, you can go ahead and kill that scholarship." So that one of my challenges was getting down from 22 minutes to 16. I think was my passing time then. And I literally ran 5 miles, 10 miles every day for like 2 weeks before I took that PT test. And I was able to get down to about 16:25 and pass it, but that was a lot of pain. That 5 mile, 10 mile run every day for 2 weeks was no joke. But hey, that's why I needed to get in the Army, and it happened. I was commissioned into a regular Army as a branch detail armor signal. So I spent my first 4 to 5 years as a armor officer, and the remaining so far has been a signal officer. So upon getting my commissions, I was shifted to Fort Knox for my OBC as armor basic course. And as soon as that was done, I was sent to Fort Lewis and deployed within 2 weeks. So as an army officer, I was a scout platoon leader, and my AO was Diyala Province. So I was doing every daily patrol basically. I think I totaled roughly around 150 missions in my 1 year deployment in Iraq. A normal patrol mission lasts anywhere between, for me, it lasts between 4 to 8 hours. I was the furthest out from my battalion AO as a platoon. So my area of responsibility took about 2 hours to get there. And any mission after that would take 2 to 4 hours, and then a 2-hour ride back. So it was a rough 8-hour days. At least, and then you got the debriefing and get ready for next missions. So it was a long day in that deployment. So for that 1 year deployment, within my platoon, I did not lose anybody. But with a detachment that was attached to my platoon, we lost 1 soldier and 3 WIA from a IDF attack. To summarize where I've been so far in the Army, my first 4 to 5 year, was as a armor officer serving in 3-2 strikers out of Fort Lewis. And after that, I went over to Signal, went to Signal Camp Career Course, went over to Korea and be a battalion 6 for 2 years. After that, I went over to U.S. RCENT and became the battle captain out of G33 U.S. RCENT for 3 years. And here I am in Okinawa, Japan as a signal officer. I am a proud American soldier.